Welcome into the Harford Sports Report. I'm Tony Lombardi. In this episode, Larry Dukes and I will visit with Harford County resident Scott Garceau. We'll share an exciting event, the Thanksgiving Fox Hunt. Also, we'll update you on the Bel Air Bobcats girls volleyball team and recap the Harford County Boys Soccer State Championship Finals. But first, we focus in on the girls who call themselves the Harford Fighting Owls. In women's soccer, the number 17 Harford Fighting Owls extended their impressive postseason run by shutting out the Sussex County Skylanders 3-0 in the district's championship semifinals at Rutgers Newark. The victory was a testament of the collective will of the Fighting Owls. Several players fought through injuries, forcing Harford to compete with just 10 players with 28 minutes remaining. That alone presents a steep challenge when protecting a lead, but with 7 minutes to go, the challenges grew steeper when goalkeeper Crystal Klein was hit with a controversial red card, leaving the Fighting Owls with just 9 players. Despite the circumstances, Harford persevered, earned the victory, and were rewarded a trip to the finals. During the Fighting Owls' 3-0 victory, Casey Lambert scored from 31 feet out with an assist from Brooke Murphy. Lambert doubled down with an unassisted goal from 47 feet out, and Alicia Rotuno hit the back of the net from 58 feet away. The victory was Harford's 12th straight, and it represented the Fighting Owls' 7th shutout of the season. Casey Lambert's 2 goals extended her consecutive game scoring streak to 16. Crystal Klein had 6 saves, while Brooke Murphy had 2 more stops in relief. The win earned the Fighting Owls the opportunity to face the number 2 Monroe College Mustangs in the district finals. Unfortunately, during the district finals, Harford's impressive string of 12 wins came to a crashing halt. Due to injuries and the red card suspension, the Fighting Owls just didn't have enough left in the tank to take down the number 2 Monroe College in the Northeast District Championship Finals, falling to the Mustangs 10-0 to finish as the runner-up. Harford would line up just 10 players in the first 20 minutes and 9 players in the final 70 minutes. That proved to be an insurmountable challenge. Of note, the Mustangs are the only Division I team to defeat Harford this season. The Maryland Junior College Athletic Conference released the Fall 2018 All-Conference teams in November, with 16 Harford athletes across 5 teams being recognized for their outstanding play this season. The Fighting Owls women's soccer team claims 6 selections among the conference elite, although a case could be made for all 13 members of the roster. Rachel Boley and Alicia Rotuno make their second appearance on the first team, while Casey Lambert appears there for the first time. Second team honors were awarded to Natalie Berkey and Crystal Klein, while Samantha DiCarlo received honorable mention. Clearly, these players shored up Harford's back line during their run to a 5th straight region championship. Although it was a disappointing end to the Fighting Owls season, overall the season was a huge success, as evidenced by the team's championship appearance and the impressive number of awards given to several members of the team.
And now switching to the high school level, in boys soccer for Harford County Public Schools, it was an outstanding fall, producing 2 state champions. First, in Class 1A action, it was the Patterson Mill Huskies taking the state title over the Loch Raven Raiders of Baltimore County 3-0. The Huskies took their 14-2 record to Loyola University and the Ridley Athletic Complex in their second straight trip to the 1A finals. The teams felt each other out like 2 prize fighters early in the action until junior Eric Nutzling fed senior Zach Hebb in the 26th minute on a diving header to start the scoring for the Huskies. They played pressing defense from that point on and won most of the 50-50 balls. This resulted in the second goal of the first half at the 43-minute mark when Andrew Papa Georgopoulos netted a left footer from 20 yards. The Huskies added their third goal on a head ball from senior Christian Schertzer off the post and into the goal. to cap a 3-0 victory and Patterson Mill's first boys soccer state championship. In the Class 3A nightcap at Loyola, it was the C. Milton Wright Mustangs in a hard-fought defensive contest. Jason Butler scored the first goal in the first half for the Mustangs on a penalty kick. It remained that way for 23 minutes of the second half when Connor Appleby mishit a shot over the head of the Magruder goalie, J.C. Cortez, from a free kick by teammate Ryan Lindsay. The Magruder goalie dove to make the save, but accidentally directed the ball into the goal. Magruder pressed hard to try to regain what they had lost, but the Mustang defense was unwavering, with keeper Zach Hetrick making 6 key saves. That gave the Mustangs the 3A title and gave Harford County the 2 championships for the fall in boys soccer.
In other sports action in Harford County at the state championships, in cross country for the boys, in 3A, Class 3A action, in second place was Caleb Zilka from Bel Air, running a 16:38:17. In 2A, it was Kevin Baranowski from Harford Tech, a sophomore, finishing in 8th place with a 16:38:77. And in 10th place from Harford Tech also, Darren Taylor, junior, at 16:42:40. In girls 3A class state championship cross country, we had Haley Cummins in 4th place, a junior from C. Milton Wright, at a 19:27:47. Lindsey Perry, a junior from C. Milton Wright, in 7th place, going 19:49:33. Mackenzie Morrison, a freshman at Bel Air, in 8th place at 20:12:05. And Faith Loftus of Bel Air in 10th place at 20:22:70. And to wrap up our state championships in boys football, we only had one team from Harford County make it to the state semifinals, and that was the Havre de Grace Warriors. They traveled across the state to Fort Hill in Cumberland, Maryland, to face the Fort Hill Sentinels. The undefeated Fort Hill Sentinels were just too much for the Warriors, beating them 43-6. Jordan White, a senior for the Warriors, got the only score in the game, with points scored on a touchdown pass from Alec Gresnick. The Warriors of Havre de Grace finished their season at 10-3. And that does it for our high school sports championships at the state level. When we come back, Tony Lombardi will be joining Scott Garceau for the second part of our interview picked up from the last episode.
So, Scott, you arrived here in Baltimore when was it?
1980, yeah.
1980. So what was it that brought you to Baltimore, leaving your hometown of Michigan?
I started in northern Michigan, and then shortly after we were married, I was playing A-ball then. Related to major leagues, I was playing A-ball, and I was trying to get into a bigger market, and we went to Albuquerque, New Mexico for 4 years, which now I'm playing AAA ball, basically. And we loved it there, had 4 good years. And then I wanted to get into the major leagues, right? And I had missed on a job in Seattle that I thought I might have. And then a friend of mine that worked for CBS said, hey, there's a job in Baltimore that's open. I want you to apply. Get them a tape. And I'd just been through the Seattle thing, and I said, I just went through that. And he got fatherly on me, and he kicked me in the rear end. He said, you get them a tape. And here I am, here I am in 2018. But that's what happened. I sent the tape, didn't hear anything for a while, and then they flew me in. They got me because they flew me in for an interview, and they took me to lunch at the Golden Arm, and John Unitas sat down and said hello to us. And I said, how much do I have to pay you to work here? I mean, this is pretty neat.
My earliest recollection of you, and my partner Larry and I were interns with the Baltimore Colts.
Okay, sure.
And I remember you chasing down Bob Irsay to get a few words from the guy that's famous for his beef-eater consumption.
Seems like I did a lot of that. We chased him to Las Vegas. I found him in Caesar's Palace in a casino. Right. This is when he's in Arizona. They're going to move to Phoenix. Sent me out there. I'm ready to return from Vegas. It's like, we're going to send you to Hawaii for the NFL meetings because we actually thought he might announce the move at the NFL owners meetings. He never did. And we came back from that, and it wasn't much later that in the middle of the night, the Mayflowers lined up.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Who can forget that in Baltimore? Now, one of the things that you've also done is cover the Orioles. You did a little play-by-play with the Orioles. 115 losses this year, Scott.
I thought they might contend for a wild card. That didn't quite happen, did it? 115 losses, tore up the team. Manny Machado, Scope, Britton, all the guys that they traded before the deadline. But it was real bad. That's why they made those trades. And if you would have told me they were going to lose 115, I would have thought you're crazy. I got a couple friends that were on the '88 team, and I congratulated them both when the Orioles passed their 107 that they lost. That was the team that started 0-21. But brutal. And now, if you're an Oriole fan, you can only hope that building up the minor league system, getting a lot of prospects, the first pick in the draft next year, that they'll do the right thing, whoever the new GM and managers are, that they will have a plan in place that might take 3 to 4 years to get them back in contention and can be a team that we were pretty proud of for like 5 years when Buck had them in the playoffs 3 times and he brought winning baseball back to Baltimore.
Right now, we're broadcasting, or we're airing this in November, but we're recording it in October.
I'm confused.
I'm gonna ask you to make a prediction, because by the time this is seen, the Orioles may have named a GM,
The Super Bowl
and,
they played.
and a manager. Right? So your thoughts on who the GM could be and who the manager could be?
Yeah, I have no clue. I just hope they hire the GM before the manager, because the GM should be able to decide who he wants to manage.
They need to be in sync.
And I think they do. And I talked to John Angelos recently, and he said, we want to hire good baseball people, get them in here, and get out of the way and let them run this organization, which I think is a great philosophy. Ownership should be there to support, at times question, but let your baseball people run your baseball team. And that sounds like the plan of John and Lou of taking over the daily operations from their dad, who's not in good health. So my hunch is the game is going more toward analytics, younger thinking, younger minds. I'd love to see them hire a 40-something assistant GM who maybe has some baseball background but may have graduated from Princeton, and Theo Epstein kind of guy. I think this is going to be a big job. It's not going to be fixed in a year, 2 years. I'd like to see somebody young and hungry get in, dig in, and go after it.
You would almost think it's going to take somebody that's young and hungry to take that job,
Yeah.
because it isn't a 2-year fix. It's a long-term fix.
Yeah, and I think you should probably have, I'm not saying Dan Duquette, but a Dan Duquette-like baseball lifer that's been around and knows the nuts and bolts at his side to help him through the process as an assistant GM, whatever title you might want to give that guy. But that's kind of what I'm thinking, that thinking outside the box a little bit. Doesn't have to be a guy with tobacco coming down the side of his cheek. Give me maybe one of those Ivy League guys that's into baseball,
Right.
and is thinking outside the box.
Now, we mentioned your play-by-play days with the Orioles. Now let's talk about your play-by-play days with the Ravens. Do you miss it, first of all?
By now, not so much.
Okay.
The first couple of years, really, that adrenaline game day rush and the week-to-week living and dying with the team was pretty neat. And Tom and I had 10 great years, and I miss doing a lot of things with him because, I think starting in 1982 or 81, we started doing Colt preseason games and have done all kinds of things, including the Turkey Bowl and
Right.
college football in between. So that part, that relationship with Tom, I miss. I look at it, we had our run, we did our thing. Jerry's been in there now for, 12, 13 years.
Hasn't been that long.
Jerry and, some other people that have worked with him. But we had a good time. This first Super Bowl was a fantastic run. As you know, that team came out of nowhere. They'd never had a winning season, and this town went on fire. And to be part of that, pretty neat.
Speaking of winning seasons, the Ravens have missed the playoffs 4 out of the last 5 seasons. Now, again, we're recording this in October, airing it in November, and things may change a lot between now and then. Right now, they're currently 3-2. To me, it looks and feels a lot like the teams from 16 and 17. Your thoughts on that?
The one thing that kind of jumps out at me, and you and I watched the 2000 Ravens, and I don't think we'll ever see another Raven defense like that.
They won't allow it.
No. But this defense, to do what they have done and go the first 5 games of the season without giving up a second-half touchdown, in this day and age when everybody seems to be putting up 40 points,
Right.
I think that's amazing. And that lets us know that they're capable of doing some things maybe they haven't done for the last 5 years and being a playoff team. Joe has been a little more up than down. We were hoping that he's healthy, he might be better. At times, the new receivers have looked better than the old receivers from the last couple of years, but then Crabtree drops a touchdown and drops a few other passes, and you're thinking, are these just guys again? They're not special. John Brown will make a play here and there. I'm not sure this is a special receiver group. I think the tight ends have promise, but they're young guys. You know, Hurst, Andrews, they're going to make some plays, I think, but how quick are they going to become real game changers? So I think the book's open. The fact is, there's not a good team in this division right now. You know, Pittsburgh, I still think Pittsburgh's the team to beat. Cincinnati looks good now. Are they for real? We do know Cleveland's going to be more resistance than they've been in the past.
They really are.
They're getting better, and I think they found their quarterback. I don't know if he's going to Canton, but he's better than the guys we've been seeing since 1999 in Cleveland. So I think the division's changing a little bit.
So what's your guess? What's it going to take? How many wins to win the division? And can the Ravens do it?
I always say 10's a good number. I think 10 gets you in and might be a wild card. I don't think this is going to be a 12-13 game division this year. I think 10, certainly 11 would win the division.
Now, you are a Harford County resident.
Yes, I am.
We talked about how you arrived in Baltimore. How did you arrive in Harford County, and why do you stay?
Yeah, we love it. We love it. Both my daughters went to public schools from kindergarten through 12th grade in Harford County. The school system is great. It's been good for our family. I'm a small town kid, right? I grew up in a town, 8,000-9,000, little small mining town. And Harford County's got some small town to it. You know, open spaces. People are pretty friendly.
Right.
It's been good to us. I love it here. I love it here.
Well, there you have it. Hall of Famer Scott Garceau. So we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back on the Harford Sports Report.
I realized that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
In others girls' state championship action in field hockey, C. Milton Wright won its second consecutive 3A title with a victory over Chesapeake of Anne Arundel County 3-0 at Washington College. Ariana May scored 2 goals for the Mustangs, and senior Samantha Oljetz, the team's leading scorer with 14 goals and 8 assists, scored the first goal of the game. Defense carried the tournament with keeper Finley Moreland stopping everything. C. Milton Wright made it through the tournament bracket without allowing a goal, posting 28 themselves, including a 5-0 victory over Blake in the semifinals. Congrats to Kelly Mattingly and her C. Milton Wright Mustang. While the rest of Harford County is resting or watching parades on Thanksgiving Day, the equestrian community is gathered at St. James and will be going throughout Harford County on the traditional Elkridge Harford Thanksgiving hunt. But it starts very early in the morning. In barns throughout the county, riders and grooms start their morning preparing for the traditional fox hunt. The season kicks off in November and will run Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays through the winter in the Moncton part of the county. One of the highlights for riders and all horse enthusiasts is the Thanksgiving hunt, where a large crowd, over 1,000 people, young and old, came to see the parade of horses and hounds before the hunt. For the riders, it starts before daybreak, with grooming and feeding the horses. This is a formal sport, and unlike folks in Britain, fox hunting in Harford County is about the chase, and the fox goes to ground, meaning it goes in the hole. Then the hounds are directed to another scent, and off they go through the countryside. Attire involves traditional hunt clothes, breeches, boots, shirts, ties, and jackets. When all is ready, the horses are loaded and trailered to the St. James Church, just over the county line between Baltimore and Harford. This year, crowds braved record low temperatures, and horses paraded around the ring while locals from both counties watched the pageantry.
In the middle of the ring are the hounds, and yes, they are called hounds, not dogs. This pack of hounds is crossbred from a U.S. hunting dog and an English variety to find the best traits. The Elkridge Harford hounds are award-winning and are known for their noses. That means that even when the scent is weak due to the weather or when the corn is high, these hounds still perform. They have won many awards at prestigious shows in Virginia and Maryland. They're quite a friendly group and lovable pack as well. You can find their names and their pedigree on the Elkridge website, www.ehhounds.com.
Then there is the Thanksgiving blessing.
Who this day go a-hunting with horse and hound. Grant that they who delight in the freshness and beauty of the open fields may never your hand fail to see, and evermore be ready to lift up their hearts in thanksgiving to you. Keep, O Lord, this day bright, the horses sure of foot, the hounds swift, the fox elusive, the hunters safe, and may all come safely to their homes.
Once blessed, the hunt is ready to begin. Jeff Hyde, the lead huntsman, will take his riders in the western part of the county called My Lady's Manor. This is 10,000 acres of prime equestrian land. The Elkridge Harford Hunt Club runs the hunt season with co-masters of the hunt, Mr. Joe Davies, Mr. Turney McKnight, Mr. Bob Kinsley, and Mrs. Garrett Murray. Huntsman Jeff Hyde leads the hunt through the countryside on another glorious Thanksgiving fox hunt.
The hounds are kept in a pack by folks called whips. There are 3 whips in the hunt today. They keep the hounds from chasing other animals and getting on other scents. The hounds will follow the scent, and riders will follow in groups called fields. The first field will go over obstacles like fences and chicken coops and brush. Other fields will follow. The average hunt will take a couple of hours, and on this day, it will end with a washdown of the horses and a feeding of the horses and the hounds just in time for everyone to enjoy their Thanksgiving feast. And that's going to do it for us for this episode of the Harford Sports Report. I'm Larry Dukes with Tony Lombardi. We'll catch you next time on The Report. Thank you.